So once you decide what tool you want, obviously my tool of choice is Cursor. So that's what I'm going to show you is how to use Cursor, maybe lowering that bar to entry a little bit because it's not all for developers. Again, I'm not a developer and I use Cursor all the time. So let's talk about navigating around Cursor and what it looks like and some kind of key tips and what to do. Okay, so here's an instance of Cursor. And when you start out with Cursor, it just looks like, oh, you have this. It's like, okay, cool. What do I do? When you don't know what to do, you can see I have a couple examples here. You're gonna open a project, but you have to have a project first. I'm on a Mac. If you're on a Windows, use whatever Windows uses. I don't know. I'm on a Mac. But go to your folders and you're going to create a new folder that is going to be whatever you want to name it. Now, some key things, okay? And these are things I didn't know. Remember, I'm a developer. I'm not a developer. Get that right. But don't use capital letters and don't use spaces because it makes your life much harder. So for this one, I'm going to do a base website. And this is actually just going to be a portfolio website for me. That's what I'm building. So I'm going to do base website is going to be my folder. Now, if I go here, I'm going to open the project, and my project is going to be base website. So this is my folder where it's going to put all the components of what it's building. But now, obviously, there's nothing in here because all I did was make the file. But to orient yourself around Cursor, you have here is where you're going to get these list of files or list of components of your website on the left. Here on the right is your chat. This is where you get to talk to AI and it becomes your buddy because you're going back and forth on different features and functions and telling it what to do. So you're going to spend a lot of time over here on your chat. And then up here, it's just kind of blank right now. There's nothing, but we can fix that. If you go to up the top and you go to terminal and go to new terminal, this is a terminal. Now, on your terminal is going to be the instructions that either you or Cursor give to your server or your computer to run certain actions. It's also going to document where other actions are taking place. So the terminal is basically a log of actions that is happening on your site. Okay, that's how you can think about the terminal. And Cursor can write into the terminal. It can tell you what to write into the terminal. It's really up to how you interact with it a little bit in order to decide what you see in the terminal. Now, up here it's going to show things that it's making, like code that it's writing, or I honestly, once I get logos in there, I'll just put the logo because the logo looks pretty and that's what I want to see. And I make my life easier there. But this is essentially how you set it up. Now, there's nothing here. Okay. And we start with nothing for a reason. So what I actually do is I use AI to build AI because one of the things with Cursor is tokens or with any type of AI is tokens. They all cost money to have it feed back information to you. And you have a limited amount of tokens based on your subscription plan every month. So if I can use ChatGPT in order to, or Gemini or whatever, in order to allocate my tokens elsewhere, I will do so. So this is where we left off on the other video that I had used ChatGPT to take my idea and scaffold with AI to build out the information that I wanted to have the outline that I'm now going to put into Cursor. So I had copied all that info from ChatGPT. Now I'm going to put it into Cursor. So this is combining those two. Now that you've kind of oriented yourself around Cursor, now we're going to put that information from ChatGPT into Cursor. And I'm going to create a file here, and it's going to be instructions.md. MD is markdown, and I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so it's going to take all of those right here, and it's going to put the instructions that ChatGPT put together. Now, it's not going to do anything right now. I have to tell it what to do. So this is where I go over to the AI and I say, I want to build a site. I outlined the instructions in the instructions markdown file. Can you get started with the base based on these instructions? and ask any questions before assuming and taking action. So one of the things I do is I say, ask any questions before assuming and taking action, because cursor will absolutely be like, let me go. And that's great, but sometimes you want it to take a second and ask questions, and clarify before you actually just let it take off and run. That's how you end up with a really messy code base. So I put it in here and it's going to think. It's going to be like, okay, let me read this and let me decide what to do. Now, my suggestion when you're in Cursor is you need to read this, okay? As you get going, you can start to skim, you can see patterns, but read these and understand what's going on, especially if you don't have a coding background. And the reason I say that is because Cursor will go wild sometimes. And this is where you'll see in vibe coding communities that they say your code base gets really ugly, they add too much stuff. Well, it's because you don't look at what it's doing. And that's why I put in these guardrails of ask questions before making assumptions, or don't do anything until I tell you to do something. And that's where you get really, you get kind of wild in there. So what really you are in charge of the AI as long as you actually manage the AI. And that's going to be key. So you'll see cursors asking me questions. So it says, should I initialize a new Next.js project, or is already one set up? So one, we need to do new. There we go. So I told it and it's like, okay, well, we're going to run this. Okay, we're going to start. So here this is a command that you could put into the terminal or you could just have it run and hit enter. So it's going to start to run things and it's going to set up the project. And this is where it's going with code. And I don't even know what this means. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. I think it's building that Next.js baseline so that we can start to build outside of that. But I literally tell AI, like, go and do. Okay. I started with the foundation and I said do. So to recap, like you can see, it's building out all of this code here. Okay. It's starting. You can see on the left, it's building out these different file structures for your application or for your website. So it is building all of this as you go. Now, this is where you just let it run. Okay, let it go. Don't do anything. Don't interrupt it. Just let it go and let it build code. We'll review it afterwards. But again, this is your chat. This is where you're working. This is like if I click on these, you're going to see all the different files that pop up. So you'll see these. I don't want to look at all that. So I normally don't click over here. But this is where you're starting to see all of that. And then down here is your terminal. Now, it gave a whole rundown of what it did. So I got to scroll back up and it says, okay, well, we built all of this. We did everything here. So this is how we built it. It's ready to go. And it says ready to run, npm run dev. So what this means is in your terminal is if you type this, we can actually start it. So if I type npm run dev, this is going to start the website. Now I can have it open. I actually don't do cursor browser. I always just go into an actual browser. So if I go over here and I go to localhost 3000, hey, look, it made my site. So this is what it did. It started, but you can tell it's not perfect because look over here, like these look kind of wonky. Don't really love it 100%, but it just built this based on that instruction. So I can go to career work, you can see this. I can go to projects and you can see this, how I work. And it built out all of this info and contact and it put in placeholders so you can see all this. So that's essentially how it starts to work and how it builds things out. Okay, let's talk about making changes. So now we have a base site, right? We have something. Woohoo, it works. That's great. But this is all wonky. So I don't like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot it and I am going to tell cursor, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to give it a screenshot and I'm going to say the headers for each section are far on the left. Can we fix this? And I probably give it way more than what I need to. But I'm telling it this is what's wrong and it's going to fix it. Now, you can also use speech to text, so you can just talk to it, and that goes a lot faster. I tend to write it out just because I think through things a bit better when I write it out, and I like think through what should happen and what shouldn't happen. So it makes it a lot easier. But that is something that is just a fun tip. So you can see it's changing the code, it's modifying things. It's like, okay, great. Now, if I go back to, you can see there's a build error. So it's not done. You gotta run. Okay, so it starts to go, which is how you build a site. So literally I built a site in what, 5 minutes? So you can build a site in 5 minutes, but this is just a stagnant site. This is not like a process, right? There's nowhere that you're storing data. There's no login. There's no authentication. This is just super, super, super basic. But this at least shows you how to start to navigate to the different pieces of using Cursor and using different tools.